you for joining us on the Sport on Pulse. Hi, I'm Gary Al Smith. You may have heard, if you haven't, well, Mediama are next through to the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup, that is African second-tier club competition. They beat Mamelodi Sundowns yesterday by 2-0. It was just like in their other 2 games where they played at home and needed 2 goals and they delivered. But there was some controversy. On the line to source all this out is Patrick Akoto, who is the Deputy Communications Man of the Tarkwa-based club. Patrick, thank you for joining us on the Pulse.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Good. First of all, congratulations, but it was tinged with some controversy. The coach of your opposing team, Mamelodi Sundowns, says that he was intimidated by refs. He actually says that before the game, his team were heckled, their bus was, all sorts of things happened to their bus, and they had to fight back. And he says it was unbelievable. True or false?
Oh, complete falsehood, absolute. I am.
Story I'm talking about, if you head over to my Joy Online Sports page, it's one of our trending stories. Let's go up to read the details. And this man you just saw is Peter Motimane. He used to be the coach of the South African national team, but he left the job and Gordon Iggesund took over. Now he's the coach of Sundowns. They have just won the South African Premier League, and they are doing well in the CAF Confederations Cup until now. So let's check out the story. And as is usual, there are always 2 sides to the story. Now, Sundowns coach Peter Motimane claims his side were handed a raw deal in the game by, Mamelodi Sundowns. The coach of the ABSA Premiership champions is bitter at the circumstances surrounding his team's elimination after the 2-0 defeat. Now, the final score meant that Sundowns bowed out on their away goal rule after a first leg finished 3-1, the highlights of which you saw on TV right now. Now, Mediama struck in the 36th minute through a penalty converted by Malik Akowa and Bernard Ofori. But the interesting thing is the quote here. He says, it was unbelievable. We had people from Mediama coming to our bus to fight, and we had to fight back, and the referees from Algeria were unbelievable. Mediama had a very good team, but when we attack, it's offside, offside, offside. So Patrick Akoto is back on the line to talk to us. You were saying, Patrick, about the claims from Peter Motimane.
I think that is absolute falsehood. It's a complete fabrication. Nothing of those claims that he's alleging took place. When we went to Sundowns, they treated us decently, and we gave them, a repeat of the kind of treatment that they gave us. I am particularly surprised with those claims. I think that these are stock grips. Unfortunately, he came down underestimating Mediama. He came here saying that he was going to play against a little boy club Mediama, but unfortunately, he was overruled by the occasion. Absolute falsehood, and we are completely scandalized by his so claims. Nobody attacked Sundown official. There was no confrontation whatsoever. It just happened that we beat them fair and square. And I am surprised about his claims of officials, flagging his players offside. Why? Is offside not part of the game? It's always been part of the game. Several times we were also flagged offside in the positions that we have thought that we were onside. So all these claims should be disregarded. It's an absolute falsehood,
okay.
and we reject it completely.
Point well made. However, we can't take away the fact that your team has qualified to the next stage. What does this mean to you, especially considering the history? I mean, the books will tell you that apart from Brekum Chelsea, who did it in 2012, nobody has done it in the last 4 years. Surely your camp should be thrilled.
Of course, we are absolutely delighted. We are in a state of jollity and gaiety, Gary. And you should have been here yesterday to see how excited the people of Secondary and Takrade were. We turned the city upside down, but we are calmer. I mean, we've come to the realization that the dream is on. The dream is on course. We've qualified for the group stage, which of course we are excited about. Now, the next target really is to try and negotiate the title, is to try and win the ultimate diadem. That is the next phase. But we are holding our ground. We are not getting complacent. We are being patient. We have to wait for the draw, which will be conducted on Tuesday in Cairo. We will get to know our opponents. We start to re-strategize, and we'll take the game heads on. We are happy as a club. It's a very young club, but we are becoming an emerging giant on the continent. And we are happy with the kind of support that we receive from all the major stakeholders, from all Ghanaians, and we are hopeful that we were going to make history this year. This year, trust me, this is the year for Mediama, and something magical is about to happen to this country.
Right, Patrick, first, and then another thing we got to know yesterday was that CAF will have the draw in Cairo on the 24th, which is in just about 5 days from now.
Yes.
The teams possibly that you could meet include TP Mazembe, Young African, the club from Tanzania. Also, you could meet a couple of Tunisian clubs. Is there any preference for Mediama or anybody's game?
Anybody's game. I mean, for any of the teams that have gotten to this particular stage, they are here on merit. And if you do a scan of the scores that took place over the weekend, it does appear to me that several of the teams qualify on the away goal rule. So, at the likes of the Rabbits and the Young Africans and all the teams that we've met in TP Mazembe, it is a delight to play against TP Mazembe because we feel that we've come of age. We have enough quality players. We have players who can spend the test of time. These are very useful, youthful players, very, very exuberant, trying to, make a name for themselves. We are ready to take on anything that we are paired with. I mean, we have no preference whatsoever. If we've got to this level, it's because we got here on merit.
Okay.
And it means that we are ready to do battle with any of the other 17. It doesn't matter where we are paired. We are just ready. We map up strategies and ensure that we outdo our opponents.
Right. You've addressed the target. I was going to ask you about that. You say you want to win the trophy. You are echoing the sentiments of your bankroller, Moses Parker, as well. Quick final question. The talk in the last fortnight has been about the controversy with your coach. I mean, he went AWOL in South Africa, and you had to give Ivan Sadote the job in the caretaker capacity. Going into the toughest stage of the club's history in terms of African football, are you going to maintain him or are you going to find a substantive?
We have an absolute confidence in Ivan Sadote. We think he's a top professional. He's a top notch. He's been with us for many years. He has been appointed in an interim capacity. I am not in a position to know whether he'll be confirmed, as a substantive coach. Of course, no, because of his dual responsibility as Ghana's under 17 team coach. Yeah. I am sure there will be some bit of reinforcement going forward. But in the meantime, he is steering the affairs of the club on the domestic front. You get to know what happens, and then the club will take a decision going forward. But so far, we are happy with his performance. We think he's an absolutely notch, and he's doing a good job for us so far, and we have no qualms at all about that.
Right. Thank you very much for your insight, Patrick Akoto, who is the Deputy Communications Manager for Mediama ISC, who have qualified into the money zone of the CAF Confederations Cup. Like I said, the draw will be done on the 24th in 5 days' time in Cairo, and we'll be expecting a good draw for the Ghanaian side. Speaking of club football, and let's go to Europe. Last night was a big deal for Sevilla. The medium-sized city, if you like, in Spain, have dominated European football, at least in the Europa League, for the past 3 years. Yesterday was simply confirmation of that amazing trajectory they've gone under Unai Emery. And also, they've won it for the 4th time since 2010. What does this mean for Spanish football? Spanish football, which has seen Spain win the Euros in 2008, in 2012, sandwiched by a win of the World Cup itself in 2010. From 2008 as well, we've seen the dominance of Barcelona and also Real Madrid winning the Champions League. The Spanish must be doing something right. In studio with me, Mr. Sarabediako, to do an analysis of what the Spanish are drinking that the rest of Europe aren't. Any ideas? So maybe Sobolo, Fula, what?
No, quality Spanish water.
Quality Spanish water.
Quality Spanish
How
water.
are they brewing this water?
Gary, first of all, we are talking about powerful clubs in Spain, Madrid and Barcelona. They're able to attract the best players. They're able to attract the biggest commercial deals. And because they have money, because they are powerful, they can buy quality players. And they also place a lot of premium on academy football. Barcelona, especially for example, La Masia, Madrid, Casilla. When you go to Atletico Madrid, they have a very, very efficient academy. It is that academy that produced the likes of Fernando Torres, the likes of Koke and Saul. So they buy and they also manufacture future players. And they have efficient scouting team. Efficient. Atletico Madrid, for example, anytime they lose a player, they find a replacement. When Fernando Torres left, they got Diego Forlan. After Diego Forlan, they got After Aguero, they got Diego Costa from within. The English clubs are not doing that. They buy big players who come and fluff their lines. Chelsea spent £50 million on Fernando Torres, and he could not live up to the huge investment Chelsea made in him. So the Spanish teams will continue to dominate, and they play with an identity because they have lots of Spanish nationals playing for the top teams in Spain. Elsewhere, it's not the case.
And in Sevilla's case, it's been 3 consecutive years. But the interesting thing about the way they have won is that if you check all the starting lineups from 3 years ago, from 2 years ago, and from yesterday, they are very, very different indeed. So, I mean, it goes to tell you the depth of their transfer activity.
Yes.
They buy cheap and they sell big. But it's not that they just buy cheap, they buy quality.
I was talking to you about the efficient scouting
System.
team they have, especially Atletico Madrid and the likes of Sevilla, who don't have money to buy quality players. The English clubs, I think their scouting team is not up to scratch at all. And the Spanish teams will continue to dominate. 2 years ago, there was an all-Spanish Champions League final. 2 years before that, all-Spanish Europa League final. Yeah. Barcelona won the title last season. We have all-Spanish Champions League this season. Sevilla have won it. So the Spanish teams will continue to dominate. There's nothing the other countries can do about that because they are doing the right things.
About the English argument, there's a very interesting debate put forward by the head of the scouting committee for Sevilla himself, and he's being given a lot of credit for it because if you check all the great players they have brought in, he was responsible for them. And he was saying that the English team's money is their undoing, that the English Premier League has so much money, they don't see it as important to go to France and other places to bring the small players. They are content with Spain, Italy and others going to scouts, bring the players and buy them because after all, they can afford them.
It's true. Yeah. Very, very true. Because they have money, they can buy any player
really.
They want.
I mean, even Norwich, Bournemouth can afford players that Valencia, the likes of Valencia and Sevilla can't.
Yes, they have money to buy players. And because they have money, they will continue to buy. But Barcelona have money, yet they place premium on academy football. Yeah. So many players have come through the La Masia system. Iniesta, Xavi, recently Sergio Roberto and Rafinha Alcantara. Yeah. So the other clubs in other countries must learn from the Spanish teams. They'll continue to dominate. And one thing I like about them is that they never deviate from their football identity. They will stick to it, come hell or high water. And what they do is that they suffocate you with their Spanish identity. They play football and get results.
Thank you very much. Asare Bediako, a man of identity and other things. Spanish football, will they be able to dominate and win the Euros again this trip? Don't forget that they don't have one matter. They've asked a host of big names, including Diego Costa and Fernando Torres, allowing the new generation of Saul and others to possibly give Vicente Del Bosque a fitting finale in international football management. I'm Gary Al Smith. Thank you for your custom. We'll be back later with more.